The Gangster's Curse. Chapter 1. The Hollow Welcomes You. The village of Black Hollow was unlike any other. Every man, woman, and even child was part of the underworld, a ruthless network of gangsters, ruling the land with iron fists and bloody vendettas. Honor was paid in blood, and betrayal was settled with a shallow grave. One fateful night, an outsider named Elias stumbled into Black Hollow, seeking refuge from the law. He thought he had found a safe haven, a place where no one would turn him in. The village was shrouded in mist, its cobblestone streets slick with recent rain. The buildings, old and crumbling, seemed to lean in, as if whispering secrets of past crimes. Elias was given a single warning by the village's self-proclaimed leader, Salvatore, the Viper Morelli. Obey or disappear. But Elias was a survivor. He planned to keep his head down, find a way to blend in, and eventually move on. What he didn't realize was that the village itself had other plans for him. Chapter 2. The Whispers in the Dark. Strange things began happening the moment Elias arrived. The air grew thick with whispers. Shadows moved unnaturally, and the crows that perched on rooftops never blinked. At first, he brushed off his unease as paranoia. The villagers, hardened criminals who feared nothing, found themselves locking their doors at night, whispering of an old legend, the Gangster's Curse. Elias overheard hushed conversations in smoky bars and dimly lit alleys. Then, the disappearances started. One by one, gangsters vanished without a trace. A powerful enforcer, Marco Steelfist Ricci, was found with his eyes wide open, his mouth frozen mid-scream, but no marks on his body. When Elias found the mansion of a gang leader completely abandoned overnight, its doors hanging open, blood smeared across the walls, he realized something was deeply wrong. The villagers started avoiding him, some even accusing him of bringing the curse back. Elias, now terrified, sought answers. He spoke to an old woman known as Mama Lucia, the only person in the village who seemed to know more than she let on. In her candlelit home filled with charms and relics, she told him of Don Vittorio Lupo's curse, and how every 100 years, the dead rose to collect their debt in blood. She warned Elias that he had arrived at the worst possible time. The full moon was only hours away. Chapter 3. The Curse Awakens. It was said that Black Hollow had been built on the bones of a betrayed kingpin, Don Vittorio Lupo, a man who had been ambushed and executed by his own men a century ago. As he lay dying, he cursed the land, vowing that his spirit would one day return to claim the souls of all who called Black Hollow home. Every 100 years, when the full moon cast its silver gaze upon the village, the dead would rise, and the streets would run red once more. That night, the curse awakened. Doors burst open on their own, bullets fired but found no targets, and the gangsters, the fearless, the merciless, began disappearing one by one. Elias watched in horror as the toughest men in the village screamed like children, dragged into the shadows by unseen hands. Blood painted the cobblestone streets, but there were no bodies, no signs of struggle. Only the echo of agonized wails fading into the night. Those who tried to fight back found their weapons useless, their bullets vanishing into thin air. Elias ran through the village, searching for anyone still alive. He found Salvatore Morelli, shaking with fear, a gun in his trembling hands. "It's him," Salvatore muttered. "Lupo, he's come back. We should never have stayed here." The walls trembled. The howling wind carried voices from the past, whispering of betrayal, vengeance, and eternal suffering. A thick mist crawled from the ground, swallowing everything in sight. The dead had returned. Chapter 4. No Way Out. Elias tried to flee, but the village had become a labyrinth of shifting streets and swirling fog. The main road out of Black Hollow had vanished, replaced by endless alleyways that led him in circles. He pounded on doors, begging for help, but no one answered. Those who remained in their homes refused to look outside, afraid of what they might see. Then he saw them, figures emerging from the darkness, their faces familiar, yet twisted in eternal torment. The gangsters who had vanished now stood before him, their hollow eyes glowing red, their bodies swaying as if controlled by an unseen force. Their voices merged into a chorus of whispers. "Join us. The Hollow owns you now." Salvatore Morelli, realizing there was no escape, turned his gun on himself, but the bullet never fired. The cursed village would not allow an easy death. The ghosts of Black Hollow closed in, dragging Salvatore and the others into the void. Elias turned to run, but hands, cold, decayed, and unrelenting, grasped his arms. He screamed as the fog consumed him, the faces of the dead closing in, their whispers turning to laughter. Chapter 5. The Eternal Toll. By dawn, the streets of Black Hollow were silent once more. The mist slowly cleared, revealing only the crows perched upon the rooftops, their beady eyes scanning the village for the next unfortunate soul. The gangsters who had survived refused to speak of the night before, but they all knew the truth. Elias was gone, claimed by the curse like so many before him. In the center of the village, where Elias had last been seen, a single playing card lay on the ground. An ace of spades, its edges stained red. Days turned into weeks, and the village returned to its grim routine. But something was different. The fear had deepened. The remaining gangsters became more paranoid, more violent, as if the curse had left a lingering madness. The crime syndicates fought among themselves, each faction convinced the others were to blame for awakening the wrath of Don Lupo. The streets ran with fresh blood, but this time it was not the work of spirits. It was men, driven to madness. One evening, a new traveler arrived, a young drifter with a past he wished to forget. He entered the village seeking shelter, just as Elias had. The gangsters stared at him, their faces hollow, their eyes dark with unspoken horrors. No one warned him, no one told him to leave. As the full moon began to rise once more, the wind whispered through the alleyways, carrying the faintest sound of laughter. The same laughter that had consumed Elias in the fog. The cycle had begun again.